Hello once again, everyone. Today is another episode of the D-Rank Warriors. Sorry for the long absence over the weekend. I was busy doing other things, but we'll be back in full strength with SIRFETCH'D as our next Pokemon. But before we get into that, there were a few VR updates, so let's go see what D-Rank Warriors we are losing to. We are listening to the changes. So, first D-Rank loss is Haxorus. You might remember Haxorus being, as I covered in that video, one of the few good physical attackers on Dragon, and it being able to have two really strong sets with both Dragon Dance and Choice Band, allowing it to, with Choice Band, to pick off really weakened threats with First Impression, and to also be a general powerhouse, and thanks to its ability in Mold Breaker, it was able to pressure certain teams that especially relied on a Rotom form, such as Water, Electric, and Fire. And in general, it was just a really solid Mon. And I didn't say it needed to be C rank in that video, but it was definitely a strong contender, and it's good to see that it did get the rise, so that's great. Next up, we have Gallade, who also rose to C. Very good to see. I did cover in that video that Gallade kind of felt better than most of the other D rank Pokemon on that list, but I could see either way as to why it was C rank. Now, we're going to look at the explanations as to why these Pokemon rose later, but this is just my initial speculation as to why it rose. But yeah, Gallade, as I covered in that video, essentially is one of the best poison checks to fighting, and it was just really solid at doing its job and also taking care of like priority with Shadow Sneak and having access to knockoff to deal with some psychic types, and its bulk is definitely something that can't be ignored, especially when paired with Screen of Virizion. So I definitely feel like it does deserve this C rank, but I would be okay if it was still D. And we haven't covered the rest of these mons yet, but we will. But we did gain a new knight. I mean, a new warrior. We got not Mr. Rhyme, Mr. Mime, Galarian form for Psychic. And we also got Caparaja for Steel. And we also lost Unpheasant, but that Pokemon was irrelevant, so it didn't matter. But yeah, those are the changes we had for VR. There's also a bunch of other changes on here. You can go see the post for yourself if you want to go check that out. But let's go look at the explanations for these mons. So for Haxorus, Haxorus' ability, priority, and first impression is valuable for Dragon-type teams as it helps beat threatening Pokemon like Cloyster after Shell Smash, Choice Scarf, Gardevoir, Alolan Raichu, and Barraskewda. So basically what I mentioned before about its priority just being really good and really potent, and especially in a lot of games with the Choice Band set, and is a good physical wall breaker otherwise. It's definitely better than Kyurem and Dracozolt, which is very niche Pokemon at the moment, and this is very true. It definitely felt like compared to the other D-rank Pokemon, this Pokemon definitely was just more solid in general and had a way better niche, so the rise definitely makes sense. Very well put. And now for fighting. Gallade does a decent job of breaking poison-type teams while not being too restricted to just that, as it helps in beating Pokemon like Alolan Raichu with Shadow Sneak, and it's a knockoff utility which is good against Psychic type. With all these traits in mind, we felt it finds itself a closer home in C rather than being ranked next to other more niche Pokemon in D, like the other Pokemon we'll be covering in this video, namely SIRFETCH'D. But yeah, Gallade, this is worded a little bit less awkwardly, but basically it does do exactly what the Sem is saying here, but I feel like more of an emphasis should be put on how good it is at breaking poison type teams. It's not the absolute best, but it's definitely a little better than how he puts it in his words here. But he is the tier leader, so we'll take what he says as fact, but Gallade is definitely a little better than he's making it sound. But yeah, it does deserve its C rank compared to the rest of the D rank Pokemon, because like it definitely doesn't deserve a D rank along with Pokemon like Scrafty and Pangoro. I feel like it's definitely a little bit better than that, because those two are just niche to one or two specific enemies. Gallade is just useful in general, and it can just pull its way in a bunch of matchups. But yeah, those are the explanations for two Pokemon that we lost, and farewell to you guys, but it was nice having you as our fellow D rankers. So without further ado, let's go talk about SIRFETCH'D, who will be our last fighting type Pokemon on D rank. And believe me, there were a lot before Glade got moved up. But yeah, SIRFETCH'D is the last D rank Pokemon on fighting, and much like the other Pokemon that are in D rank, it's usually pretty one note, has one small little thing that it does, and it can do it relatively well, but it's not exactly the best. But I'll talk about what the main flaw of this Pokemon is once we talk about the sets. So the first set we have for SIRFETCH'D is a Choice Band set. And now you might be thinking, wow, this looks really good. Do you see that attack stat, especially with Adamant, and a pretty decent wall-breaking speed tier? Why is this Pokemon not used more? Because the nature of fighting as in general as a type doesn't really suit well with this Pokemon. This Pokemon is a hit and run Pokemon. It hits really hard, like punches a wall really hard with one of its moves, and then it has to run away into a supporting Pokemon like a wall. Fighting can't do that because we don't have good walls. Like, we have defensive Pokemon like Cobalion and Virizion, but those two are not enough. And Virizion is still niche, so on most common fighting teams, you're not going to have anything to switch into, and you're just allowing something to get sacked, which is why SIRFETCH'D is not exactly the best Pokemon for fighting. Now, don't get me wrong, this Choice Band set still does a lot of work, and it can still do a lot, but it's mainly because of the nature of this set that it just doesn't sit well on fighting. So I tried to circumvent this myself by making a Sword Stance set with Life Orb. It still contains some of the power that this thing has, especially on its first impression in close combats. It has some of the power, and it can also set up on walls that may come in. So, like, let's say Randiculus comes in, for example, once he uses first impression, then you can just use Sword Stance and then click Knock Off. Well, Sword Stance on the Switch, but Knock Off later on after Sword Stance, because then you actually will OHKO it afterwards. And you will be faster than it, because most Rands don't even run speed in the first place, but yeah, you will outspeed and kill it every time. Also, this thing has a pretty decent speed tier, as I mentioned before. It's not outspeeding a lot, but like Adamant Beware and stuff like that, it can outspeed, and yeah, it just outspeeds a lot of slow walls that run like a little bit of speed creep. Corviknight is also a key Pokemon that this thing outspeeds, unless it's max speed. I may have to check that, but yeah, let me just check that real quick, because I'm pretty sure it doesn't outspeed. Okay, max speed and Jolly. Actually, yeah, just max speed in general does outspeed. Unfortunate, but yeah, no Corviknight is running max speed anyway in this generation, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, the Choice Band set definitely does do this well, and the Life Orb set helps circumvent it a little, but then it loses its potency without the Choice Band set. But it does get the job done. And then the last set is a more gimmicky set. So we have Sash Counter with Knockoff First Impression in Close Combat. You might be seeing a trend with First Impression in Close Combat always being on the set. And that's mainly because First Impression is really good on this Pokemon, because unlike Pangoro or Scrafty, who also have, well, actually, no, more unlike Pangoro, who also has Scrappy, he doesn't have like a double move that hits. He doesn't have a stab that goes super effectively. So for SIRFETCH'D actually has way more use out of Scrappy than Pangoro does. And because of that, and unfortunately, it is a mono fighting typing, so it doesn't really have more than that. But with what it does have, it's still pretty good, especially with First Impression being really, really potent. And Knockoff is also really decent as an option. You can use other moves like Leaf Blade, or it has a lot of other moves actually. Leaf Blade, Brave Bird, Poison Jab, even if you want. Like, it has moves that you can use if you really want to fit like a certain matchup. But I think Knockoff is the best one because it offers the most utility and also hits Psychic types, which is very key. But yeah, It finds the best use out of Scrappy with its close combats. It basically means that Aegislash can't switch into it, but you should already be winning against Steel. It is more useful against Ghost, though, I cannot lie. But yeah, Counter essentially allows you to hit Pokemon like Mimikyu, for example, once you break its disguise. You can basically send this guy in, and assuming rocks aren't up, you can take a Play Rough to the face, counter, and then Mimikyu is gone. Because Mimikyu will almost always put you down to your Sash unless it uses Shadow Claw for whatever reason, but then after LO Chip it should still die to a counter. So yeah, Scrappy counter is actually insanely good because now ghost physical attackers can like get punished. This is especially useful against Dragon Dance Dragapult sets, as well as the aforementioned Mimikyu, as I said before. So yeah, it's pretty good at dealing with that. If only it learned Metal Burst, and then that would have been really, really good. But counter will suffice for now. But yeah, those are the main sets you can use on SIRFETCH'D, and we just spent like over 11 minutes just trying to talk about that. But trust me, this mon is a lot to talk about, but unfortunately, as I mentioned before, it is held back by the nature of the type being not having the support it needs to actually be ran effectively. So, and these attempts to circumvent this issue really aren't that successful, and because of that, it just still ends up as like a really niche mon. Because fighting needs as much support as it can to actually win matches. Because SIRFETCH'D would be decent if fighting was actually a really threatening type with good walls or like a really threatening offensive presence, but it just isn't, or at least not yet, and it still needs some work in regards to that. So SIRFETCH'D isn't really helping out, especially against the more top tier types like Water, Dragon, and especially Psychic. Because Psychic is getting a lot of popularity now, and despite it helping a little bit, it's outclassed by kind of, sort of Pangoro and Scrafty, not as much. Glade, it's definitely outclassed by, as we mentioned before. And first impression is good, but what's first impression if Psychic Terrain is up thanks to Indeedee? So that's why it's not really that good. But besides that, it's just a really niche mon, and if you really like it, you can use it, but it's just not that good. Just in general, it's not that good. But regardless, I made a team with SIRFETCH'D on it. It's going to be the Choice Band team, because I feel like Choice Band is its most effective set, despite it not really working well in fighting. It will get support from Cobalion thanks to Thunderwave, and we'll be using Choice Scarf Terrakion again, because I really need speed control. Hawlucha, Como, and Keldeo are all doing their same things as usual, because fighting just really isn't that. It never was really a type with like a ton of variety. Even last gen, it still like ran the same couple of mons. But like in this gen, I do feel like it's a lot more. Even without Mega Gallade being like a permanent slot, you still find yourself running the same Pokemon, because basically Hawlucha took Mega Gallade's slot for all intents and purposes. And Como is still kind of pretty good. Not as potent as it was last gen, but I still feel like it's still one of the best mons fighting has. Especially as a setup sleeper with Virizion. But yeah. I do think SIRFETCH'D's place on this team will be as a Psychic Killer, and also as a general wall breaker, and a thing to like destroy certain Pokemon that rely on like Ghost type. Certain teams that rely on Ghost types, so like Ghost with Sableye, or Dark with Sableye more specifically, and also Steel with Aegislash. Basically punishes those perfectly, and Corviknight can't switch into this, because if we go into the calc real quick, Corviknight, if you use the OU bulk up set, which specializes in special defense, which the same Corviknights do in Monotype, Corviknight absolutely cannot switch into this at all. It gets 2-hit KO'd every time. So yeah, this thing basically takes a Pokemon every single time on Steel, if given the chance. It does have to be careful though, because faster Pokemon will Loco it, but it is what it is. Anyway, after 15 minutes of talking, we're going to finally get into some ladder matches. and we're only going to do a few because of how much talking I did. But without further ado, here we go. I also got this alt up to the 1500s off of video, so we will be in a much higher stakes environment. Actually, I think I may have dropped this back to the 1400s, but we'll be getting a higher ranked opponents than we have been in the past couple of videos, because I know we've been getting 1300s people in the past, and that's not very good. So we'll probably be getting 1500s, 1400s people in this CLO. Fortunately, this guy's in the 1300s, and we also got an advantageous MU. But do note that we won't exactly guarantee to win this, because Hydreigon is still a threat, as it is a very superior offensive Pokemon, especially once Cobalion gets killed. He sent out Drapion first, which inclines me to believe that he might be Choice Scarf Toxic Spikes. Yep, he is Choice Scarf Toxic Spikes, unfortunately for me. Yeah, we'll just have to bait him into defogging those with his Mandibuzz. Alright, his Incineroar has Fake Out for whatever reason. We'll just use T-Wave, because I'm predicting a Flame Charge here. Alright, he puts in Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz has leftovers. I actually do want him to defog here, so he doesn't really have any other play. So I'll just use Thunder Wave again. He uses Whirlwind, that's not good for me. We'll use Close Combat because he can't switch into it. Yeah, Mandibuzz takes a lot from that. And it also knocks off my Choice Band, so that's not good for me either. But I should still take him on here. Yeah, Mandibuzz is gone, unfortunately. And Drapion is here to stay. Puts down the second layer of Toxic Spikes. So the reason why he decided to just randomly do that is because fighting has no hazard removal, and it really suffers from any form of like hazards, especially Toxic Spikes. Not sure why he switched out to Skuntank here. I guess he really wants SIRFETCH'D dead. That's a weird play, because his Drapion might... Okay, yeah, it probably will switch in. But yeah, we'll send in Terrakion. Terrakion is now Toxic. So I guess his strategy right now is to use Incineroar to fake out stall my entire team, because I'm pretty sure I just win with Terrakion at this point, because Mandibuzz is down, and so is Skuntank. This is a free CC. I'm not sure why he sent this out. That was weird. I don't know why he did that. Kind of just thrown. Alright, so he's finally sent out Incineroar, who I don't OHKO. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't OHKO you, because you're stupid bulky. We'll just do the calc, just to make sure I'm not misplaying here. Alright, let's assume max defense, because you never know what ladder players are running. Actually, after rocks, I do kill. Huh, didn't know that. Well then, I guess I'll just go and kill him then. Alright, fake out. He may or may not decide to go into Tyranitar here. Okay, no, he didn't go to Tyranitar. That probably would have been the play, though, if you wanted to force my Terrakion out. But he did not do that. He misplayed. It was an advantageous matchup anyway, and he didn't even have Sableye to help with that, and he also misplayed with Mandibuzz a lot, because he just didn't want to defog. So we end up taking the game there, which is not particularly how I wanted to start this video, but yeah, SIRFETCH'D actually did play a pretty good role in that team, in that matchup, but like I said, you should be winning that matchup anyway, so yeah, it really shouldn't have to help you in these matchups? Poison. I would really like to have Gallade here, but we do not have it. We can, however, hit Gengar with a close combat, but like Poison naturally resists close combat, so that's not exactly a valuable thing to have. First impression also isn't any helpful here either, so Sirfetch'd is kind of just a sitting duck in the Symbiu. We will, however, click Cobalion. Toxicity Loki. I'm pretty sure Loki doesn't have Shift Gear, if I'm not wrong. So I'll just click Stealth Rock. Yeah, okay. He doesn't have hazard removal. He does have Weezing, but whatever. Alright, so I guess we'll go Combo here. Yeah, he can think I'm soundproof here, so I'll just I think I'll go into Terrakion. And try and like stop his Weezing from doing anything. Alright, yeah. Alright, well I got the flinch, which is pretty scummy, obviously. Let's hope you get another one. Alright, he gets the defog off, and he's probably going to switch into Toxapex immediately. So I'll just go switch into Sirfetch'd and be proactive. Okay, he does not do that at all. So I'll just knock off his Black Sludge. Kills my Sirfetch'd, which is not good. So we're Roxless, and we're also Fetchless. This is going to be pretty hard to bring back. But now that his Weezing is gone, Terrakion can just kind of spam Earthquake. Ooh, I'm not sure if this is exactly good for me. I'm going to hope Hydro Pump kills here. Alright, what's he up to? What's he up to? Yeah, no, you're not making me not click that, because that's just not an option. For me especially. Hydro Pump here. Because, yeah, Salazzle. He was going to double into that and then Toxic. Wait, he couldn't Toxic me because I was burned. What was he trying to do there? Whatever. Ignoring that play, we're just going to try and not get rid of Keldeo here because of Wall's Toxapex. And also it's just generally good. It's a choice between either Como or Hawlucha that we want to switch into. And I'm thinking that Como might be the play here. Because Hawlucha can still set up. Yeah, I think we'll send it Como. Alright, we're gonna Clangor his Soul. I don't know what set Drapion is. Alright, yeah, so he's Toxic Spikes. Which isn't really that good for me, but... do I want to Clangor Soul twice? I think I can afford to. Because, like, yeah, 525 is the outspeed parameter, so... Yeah, I'll Clangor his Soul again. Hopefully that doesn't poison. Okay, it did not poison, thank God. Clanging Scales here. Kill Gengar, hopefully. Yeah, we killed him, but he disables us, which is really, really not cool. And he does that, which is super, super AIDS. But yeah, we basically get screwed over. Alright, so now we're going to taunt Toxapex here to stop the haze. We can keep Calm Minding here because Drapion is slower than us. And we'll still kill Toxtricity either way. Hopefully Hydro Pump hits here because I'm pretty sure Secret Sword won't do anything. Yeah. Toxtricity low-key comes out here. Hopefully Hydro Pump hits again. Yep, we hit another Hydro Pump and we taunt Toxapex and win the game from here. Because we can keep setting up Calm Mind. Secret Sword doesn't do that much to Pex. But yeah, we basically just have to taunt it and then slowly wear it down. It's possible. And he left. Ooh, he was a really high ladder player too. That is unfortunate. But yeah, he leaves without even saying GG. So that's pretty scummy, but that's the nature of Pokemon Showdown, so you just have to kind of deal with it after a while. But yeah, I don't think SIRFETCH'D really did anything this MU. I think it was just mainly me outplaying with my other options. And yeah, I already mentioned at the beginning of this battle that SIRFETCH'D probably wasn't going to do anything. So yeah, that was pretty bad, but yeah, he kind of misplayed, especially once he got rid of his Wheezing, because I think he realized at that point that by getting rid of Wheezing, he was kind of like forfeiting the rest of the match. Because like now Terrakion could just easily click Earthquake on all of his mods, and he couldn't do anything about it. And he doesn't even know what set I am at this point. Yeah, he did not know, because I only used Ironhead, and I could still have Ironhead and run the Swords Dance set, so he doesn't even know like what I was using. But yeah, I'm actually going to keep this replay because this will be very useful for when I talk about the type later on. But yeah, we'll do one more battle because that was kind of unsatisfying, and SIRFETCH'D didn't really do much that matchup, so we'll try and get a match. And unfortunately, we're going to end off with Fire, which is not fun. Yeah, this MU is basically just Charizard goes crazy, and you have to use Terrakion to kind of stop him. And also Como exists, but it gets destroyed by some of the other Pokemon. We also need rocks, absolutely. But it's going to be hard to get up rocks in the first place, so we'll just put in Como first thing. Oh, he's the Overheat set. Forgot about that. He also got a crit, which is really lucky. Because I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have done that much if it wasn't for the crit. His Charizard is faster than my Como, so yeah, we'll just let him die here. I don't know why he used that move in particular, but he did. Okay, that was weird. I don't know why he used that. Switches into Torkoal again. That did a lot of damage. Usually that doesn't do that much to Torkoal, but apparently, I guess he's running no bulk or something. But yeah, we only have 6 Stone Edges left, and any of those Stone Edges can miss. So we need to take that as many Pokemon as possible before relying on Terrakion again. We'll send in SIRFETCH'D. I hate to do that to you, but we really cannot afford to take a risk. Alright, he's locked into Play Rough, so I'll just put down Rocks because his Torkoal is gone. Actually, I should use T-Wave here, just to slow something down. Alright, so we slow down Cinderace. We're gonna taunt him, just in case he decides to use a Court Change on the switch. He uses Pyro Ball, which misses, unfortunately for him, but I'm pretty sure Cobalion lived that. Yeah, he lived that, because Cobalion is a beast, so it will not die to something as lame as that move. We get some flinch hacks. We're gonna still taunt him because we don't want him to use court change. Let's see. I think Holucha can put in some work here, so we'll send him out. Actually, I'll go calc and see how much Power Ball does to me. Oh, whoops, wrong thing again. Let's see. Cinderace. Let's see. Holucha. Pyro Ball does quite a chunk. Yeah, never mind. I don't need to bother with that. We'll just use Sky Attack. And he gets a crit anyway, so it doesn't matter. Well, this is just unfortunate. Yep. Alright, I guess we're just gonna have to rely on Secret Sword. And we're gonna have to rely on Terrakion hitting every single one of its stone edges, and also not losing to Arcanine's Intimidate spam. We're gonna use Hydro Pump despite the debuffs. It misses. And Solar Beam does not kill Keldeo. Interesting. We're gonna try a Hydro Pump again, because I'm pretty sure it OHKOs Ninetales. It did not, unfortunately. Should have just gone for Secret Sword. Stone Edge will not hit here. Yeah, I have to hit all my Stone Edges, and that is just a big gamble. And also, Arcanine's going to constantly intimidate me here. Unless he misplays and sends out something else. Okay, he sent out Rotom for some reason. I don't know why. Alright, we hit that Stone Edge. Sent out Scarf Charizard. We hit that Stone Edge. Alright, down to the last Mon. Pretty sure even after an Intimidate, Terrakion still should kill Arcanine. And we hit that Stone Edge. Alright. Terrakion being a beast, as per usual. But yeah, unfortunately, we showed how some of the individual Pokemon on this type can be absolutely amazing. Oh my goodness, and this guy was really high up. But yeah, just goes to show that fighting can do work in this metagame. But I do still think that SIRFETCH'D did not do that much this match. It didn't even threaten any of the Pokemon here. So, like, you can see why it's kind of dead weight, at least from this video. But otherwise, it's just a really mediocre Mon at best. And it doesn't really even do that much outside of, like, the few MUs where it actually is kind of threatening. Like that Dark MU we had at the beginning of the game. So, yeah. Overall, SIRFETCH'D's pretty mediocre Pokemon. I wouldn't really see it getting a C ranking. I might use it a few times on my fighting teams, but like I wouldn't recommend a new player use this Pokemon. I'd probably tell them to use like another dangerous sweeper like Holucha or Toxicroak or something like that. Even Gallade would probably be a better option than SIRFETCH'D. But if you do like running gimmicks, SIRFETCH'D is your Pokemon. So yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like this kind of content, remember to subscribe for more, and also like this video so I can let more Monotype players see it. And thank you very much for watching the entire thing, if you did watch the entire thing. So goodbye, have a great day, and enjoy everything.